Hello, isn't it?
Hey, Governor, we got a win today, right? Yeah, let's head to the pub.
I'm on my way.
Meet you there. Will.
Good Lord.
Oh, man. Bears get the dominant win, 35-16 over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Didn't I say 38-17 or something like that? I was
Yes.
pretty damn close.
Yes, you were very close. We've been getting pretty good at these predictions lately.
Yes, we have. Bears are now 4-2. 35-16 win over the struggling Jaguars. Rough first quarter, and then the Bears said, oh, wait a minute. We know what we're doing. We don't need Brinsker or anything like that. We got this.
Yeah, baby.
Then we have a tight end that can get 2 touchdown catches and long snap the football. He can do it all. He's probably the only tight end in history that can catch the passes and snap at the same time. But yes, Bear Down here, part of the Coach Steve Show. Like and subscribe and check out the Bear Down playlist. Everything Chicago Bears is there. Me and Zach are here to break it down. They win in London. Take down even though the Bears were the home team, Jacksonville seems to be the home team in London, but there were a lot of Bears fans there. Lots of Bears fans there. A lot of people flew over. They talked about it in London. They said they know the Chicago Bears because it's Chicago and it's part of America, and that's the second biggest city or whatever. Bears get the win. Caleb Williams continues to get better. Threw all over them. Over them. And it was flavor of the week. Keenan Allen. You might have forgotten about Keenan Allen. We had him, 2 touchdown catches. Cole Kmet, 2 touchdown catches. Swift finally got his run game going there near the third or the second quarter into the second half. Flavor of the week was Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, and Swift.
Flavor of the week, man. That's what happens. And now you got Keenan Allen, who is, now healthy. Again, he's had time where he can. You don't have to lean on him. He's not the number one option anymore, like he was with the Chargers. And now, again, we've talked every show for at least since this win streak, honestly, about how, having so many weapons to guard makes it such a living hell for defenses. And so you see Cole Kmet honestly is the most consistent contributor right now in the entire receiving corps, but that's not a bad thing. Again, like Keenan Allen having 2 touchdowns today out of the blue, fantastic. Romo Dunze got his catches. Actually, DJ Moore had a pretty quiet day for the most part. Just missed out on a touchdown that was one of those quick pot pass jet sweeps by just this much. But that's the thing. Anybody, anywhere can dominate at any time in the Bears passing attack when it's humming like it is right now. And I'm not going to even go into the discussion about, the Jaguars pass defense is one of the weakest and worst defenses right now. Yeah. You know what? Again, same argument as last week. It's hard to win in the NFL. They freaking showed out. This team keeps getting better every week in all facets right now. And I think as Rich Eisen said best, it's complimentary football that's being played by Chicago. I think more so than we've seen in a long time.
I just want everybody to know that touchdown ruined my parlay. I had DJ Moore anytime score. I was hot.
No, man.
There's 2 things that ruined it. DJ Moore anytime score. Romo Dunze over 40.5, and he got 40. I was pissed. I would have won like $200. I was hot.
Those are the worst right there.
I wasn't going to gamble. I gambled yesterday in college and I won $150. So I was like feeling pretty good about myself.
Okay, but did you make out positive? Did you make a profit though?
I've made a profit. I only put in $40.
Okay, at the end of the day, the green's still green, but still, I hate seeing you lose that way. Half a yard and 1 touchdown shy.
Well, he got the touchdown and I was like, yes. And then I was like, Dunze just needs a hitch. Just give him a freaking hitch and I win money. Because he had 40 yards. Just throw a hitch or a slant.
Wait, I thought you said it was a DJ Moore. I thought it was a DJ Moore touchdown.
No, and DJ Moore, when they said he had the touchdown, I was excited. And then I was like,
oh, okay. You just needed the hitch route after that.
then I was like, Odunze just needs, like a slant catch, because I had Keenan Allen anytime score, Cole Kmet anytime score, DJ Moore anytime score, and then Odunze over 40. And I was like, whatever. I won money yesterday. I put a bunch of parlays in. I put $40 in, not on one parlay, just split them up. There were boosts. I got nervous with the Oregon-Ohio State game because I said it was going to be over like 50-some points. And at one point, I was like, they're not going to get there. It's not going to get there. And then I beat it by like a point or two. And I was like, all right, here we go. Sorry, I was pissed.
That's the worst thing that happened today, though. I think you'll be all right. I think we'll be all right.
That was the worst thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, if you hear a vacuum upstairs, we got a new dog that sheds a lot.
Burmese mountain dogs, you say. So I get it. You have a lot of fur.
Got a lot of fur. But anyway, can you still hear me? I turned my mic down. Everybody.
Yeah, I still can hear you.
All right.
I still can hear you. We're getting audio through this whole thing. Let's break some things down here. So, I mean, do you want to go straight into the passing attacks fantastic day? Do you want to go into into DeAndre Swift continuing his upward movement? I got plenty of places we can go here.
We got plenty of places. The first quarter, we go 3 and out, which we have done almost every game, going 3 and out. Jacksonville came down and scored a field goal. They were moving the ball. Jacksonville was moving the ball pretty well. The announcers, people on Twitter were getting a little nervous, and I said, Ben, don't break. It's okay if they get some big runs, some big yards. But I thought the Jacksonville was like, oh my gosh, our offense is ready to go. Trevor Lawrence was looking okay. Our defense really wasn't getting that much pressure in that first quarter. And I was nervous, but not nervous. I was nervous of like, okay, maybe Jacksonville is taking this opportunity to say, hey, if we get confident moving the ball, we'll be okay. The Bears offense, those first 2 drives didn't capitalize. And I'm like, ooh, okay, they're feeling it out. And then the second quarter, they started to get back to what they were doing, right? Because that first quarter, I didn't think DeAndre Swift was running hard. It didn't look like he was running hard. I'm not questioning it, but it just didn't look the same. The passing attack didn't look the same. And I was like, oh, this ain't good. And then I think in the second quarter, they said, okay, they're trying to take DJ Moore away. I know Odunze got some catches later on, but they were taking him away. So it goes, okay, we're going to have to rely on Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, and then Swift. You got to get your act together. And my goodness, Caleb Williams, 23 of 29. He continues to show that he's an accurate passer. 4 touchdowns. Now, DJ Moore should have had a touchdown. That play action,
so
he
close.
was open. He floated it up there. Oh, that's another one. If he would have caught that, I would have won money. Jesus Christ. I had 2 chances.
Yes, you had that one too. Which is wild. We could have been talking about a 5 TD performance.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, we could have. But you know what? We're going to take it. DeAndre Swift started to run hard. He had 17 carries, 91 yards, and a touchdown. Caleb Williams chipped in for 56 yards. And the thing about Caleb Williams, and I might be going all over the place, those yards came off of scrambles, but they weren't like, oh my God, I got to leave.
Yeah.
He was stood in that pocket for 4 to 5, 6 seconds, and he continued to look downfield. Then finally said, okay, I got to make something out of nothing. And I tweeted it. I said, I love how he stands in the pocket. He wants to get receivers the ball. Justin would have taken off every single time.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because that's something that, Caleb Williams has stressed that going into the year, that he wants to be a pocket passer first. He does have the legs. He's got the athletic ability, but he realizes, and I think his game is showing that, look, you want to look for that pass first. You can have the run option if you want. If it's there, like if it's blatantly obvious it's there, or if you feel like the pocket is definitely collapsing and you have a really great sense of pressure, kind of just understanding, then yeah, okay, take the run. But here's the thing. A lot of times with like inexperienced quarterbacks, you have guys that rush their internal clock or they try and, justify to get out of that pocket set, which that's not which you don't want to do that if you don't have to. It's okay to manipulate the pocket a little bit and try and, trust your unit and trust your personnel in front of you. And today I think was a marquee example of that. Honestly, some incredible line play for the most part. And the only times we saw sacks from Caleb were, first drive was one that I think kind of shows up, but then Otherwise, a lot of them just came where just maybe he went into it, but it was very few and far between.
Yeah.
Everything else, he was calm, cool, collected, knew when to make plays, knew when to make throws. And that's what we want. You don't want a guy that always bails out and goes for the run. Teams are just going to scheme around that. That's the problem. Right. You want a QB that has that ability, but you have to respect his passing ability. And that's what Caleb's doing. That's a great sign for a young QB now through 6 weeks. Just keeps getting better. He keeps overall getting better week over week, exponentially. Just got to get that deep ball pass better, because that interception should have been released earlier, if I had to be honest.
Right. And the old line continued to get better at pass protection as the game went on. There was a couple, and I'd have to get, when the film comes out, I'm going to check it again. But the Bears' offensive pass protection sometimes breaks down because they get bull rushed and they just allow themselves to get pushed back. Yeah. There were a couple times when the Jaguars would bull rush, we would catch them, and then they said, screw it, and they started to lay their shoulder into them and drive them out on a pass protection. And so I think they're starting to say, screw this. We're tired of getting bull rushed. And that's what helped him have a pocket. They're starting to take the fight to people. And like we said, when you are running the football and your running back's running really hard, Caleb is completing some of those intermediate passes, they start to feel better about themselves, and they start to have some life. And I feel like we handled the defensive ends pretty well. That was one of the key things, was, can we handle defensive ends?
Oh, yes.
And we started to. Shane Waldron continued to call plays the way they need to be called. And what an amazing, you know what? I figured out why he calls screens for 5 or 6 games. To fake a screen this way, and get it to Cole Kmet. They're like, oh, they're going to throw screens. And Cole Kmet running right down the middle, wide open. And I was like, what a great freaking play.
Oh, dude, the setup was fantastic. And I don't care what anyone in my freaking replies has to say that, oh, the 49ers ran this play before. It's like, who cares? It's a great way to utilize and throw off a defensive coordinator's game plan. Because the thing is, they're being taught, hey, Shane does a lot of screens. Hey, Shane does a lot of stuff that's in the flat, and you got to get out in the flat. Well, what do you do there? Oh, all these linebackers got to bail to the flat. The middle's wide open. You better hope that safety's reading that seam route really well. Otherwise, good luck. And that's exactly what happened with that play. Doesn't matter who ran it first. It was a fantastic play call.
What a
plays right into that.
Dumb comment, because football is a copycat league. You see, so I do
exactly. Everybody, if it's a good play, everyone's going to start using it. That's the deal.
If there's a good play and you think you have the personnel to do it, and you practice it and you think you can do it, go for it. I do it all the time. I'll see Instagram reels of these plays, and me, the offense coordinator, and our running backs coach are in a group chat, and we just send them all every day. We probably send 3 or 4 a piece, because we're like, I think we could pull this off. And we have thrown it a couple of times, and it works. I had the same game plan Friday night in my game. I knew I could attack the outside, so I kept throwing key screens, running back screens out there. And then what started to happen was I could run right up the middle, and then they start taking that away. And I go, guess what? I'm going back to the outside. And that's just what works. And, a couple of screens I questioned that he called, but I always do that with the Bears. You just question it. But then that's a great play call. I thought Caleb Williams was making tough passes. I thought DeAndre Swift, I tweeted, hey, they ran wide zone and he cut it all the way back to the other side. That's what he can do. And then there was
fine. I mean, that's fine. Read the hole. If you got to do it, don't run into a brick wall. Clearly is very much more decisive on his cuts than he was to start the year. I think he's just taking what he sees, and he's just getting that first shot of daylight and running with it. And it's working right now.
And he had a great game again, 91 yards on the ground, and he chipped in with 28 through the air. Like, what a great compliment. Roschon Johnson still is not getting as many reps as I thought he would. 5 carries for 8 yards. Be that amazing one-handed catch on the outside for 20, and then he had 25 yards.
He was a little indecisive in the run game today. He a little bit of happy feet in the backfield, but you know what he's there for. He spells people, and you said it best. Dude's got hands. That's my thing. It's like every time I see him where it's like he can do everything, I'm like, why did we ever start? Why did he ever become a healthy and active or healthy scratch this season?
I don't know. I know when we first got him, there were some struggles, but man, he's proven everybody wrong. He's
cemented himself clearly as the number 2 back, and it shows. So even with a slightly rough day on the ground, passing game, he had made an impact, and it's good for him.
And it's funny, I did my Illinois post game last night after that Illinois game, and I said it on there. I feel like when I talk about Illinois, I'm talking about the Bears. When I feel like I'm talking about the Bears, I'm talking about Illinois because um, Luke Altmaier for Illinois just passed it to everybody. So many people had a touch. And same thing with the Bears. Cole Kmet, Keenan Allen, Dunze, Swift, Johnson, DJ Moore, Lewis. Like they all had a catch or two. So he's giving it to a bunch of different people. And again, I think we're all okay with that. I think we're okay if it's 70 yards, 41 yards, 40, 28. They all are. We don't need, yes, is it cool if DJ Moore has 110 yards? Absolutely it is.
Oh, sure.
But I think even DJ Moore understands, like, hey, I had my game last week. This game, if Cole Kmet's open, if Keenan Allen's open, and I can do what I can, and even if I'm just being occupied by two guys because they think I'm going to go off, cool. I know that my time will come again, and I'm going to get, my catches. And that's what it feels like this Bears team is that, you know what, it's your, I don't even think they say it's your turn. I think it's just, hey, you're open all game, keep giving it to them.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what's happening in the huddle. Like, because I'm always afraid when you have weapons like this that they're going to go in the huddle and say, "Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball." And I just feel like this team is not doing that. I feel like they're all about winning. They're all about getting better. And from week 1 to now, what amazing strides from like it's not a long time. Like it feels like it's a long time, but it's not. Within 6 weeks from week 1 and 2, where we could see that they weren't all gelling together. It's a rookie quarterback. Watching the offense today, after traveling all the way to London, mind you, like they've been in London, different place, different weather, different time zones. My goodness, they're starting to like figure each other out. The O-line, I've said this from week 1 and 2, you got to let them gel. You got to let them figure it out.
Yeah,
no matter how bad they start to play at the beginning, they will have to gel and figure it out. Caleb starts to figure it out. The offense is just looking great. And people are now calling, that Washington game with the Bears, even though it's in the afternoon, a lot of eyes are going to be on that game.
Wow. Oh yeah, I know. I already see people. You and I, same person. Me and Keim's already with the flex it please. Which, for clarity's sake, here, remember CBS just denied NBC flexing a game. So unless it's later in the year or it's the same network, the most you're going to get is probably going to get flexed to like the late schedule. It might be America's Game of the Week in 2 weeks, or like CBS's version of that. So buckle up for that, most likely. But yeah, that's going to be like must-watch TV in 2 weeks. Those two QBs are lighting it up right now. Talking on the line, just to go to that real quick. Yes, they gave up 3 sacks, but just to reiterate again, some of that you can watch this film and go, okay, one of them was Caleb Williams trying to run up the middle and hopefully break a seam in the gap in a pocket. The lineman can't do anything there. Like, what do you do with that stat? You throw it out the window because, look, the QB tried to make something happen. It didn't happen. That's a thing you just throw out, and it was a loss of like a yard at most. Right. So, whatever. Overall, though, like I'm with you. I think they finally got the right personnel group here.
Right.
Right. Stick with this guy. I saw great plays from Tevin Jenkins today on pass blocking where he's chipping and keeping guys away from Caleb. I think that I think for the most part, tackle situation has settled down a little bit. Darnell Wright did make Walker a few times really have to work for it and kind of work them over. Same for Braxton Jones on the other side with Hines Allen. Thought they did a great job for the most part containing that outside pressure, which was the thing we talked about in our upcoming in our previous show last week is, can they stop the outside edge? Which I'd say mission was accomplished. They did a fantastic job doing that. And it feels like the interior isn't like squishy and weak. It's like they're finally kind of understanding what they need to do. And the personnel is correct. Stick with this group if they're healthy. It's a good, solid group. I think moving out Nate Davis was a fantastic choice, and it's reap rewards. So leave it with this.
Well, that's why I was, the interior was getting bull rushed left and right. And they finally kind of put their foot down and said, I know it's a pass protection. I'm going to drive you backwards and then get back to my pass set so I'm not downfield. I started to see that a lot. Or if they're on their outside shoulder, they're like, screw it, I'm just going to drive you to the sideline. Like that was starting to happen. And so I like the tweaks they made there because, man, the first 3 weeks I said, if you're going to attack the Bears offense, wide defensive ends and bull rush them. Don't rip by. You're going to bull rush them because they want to sit back and catch you. stay low, bull rush him. You're going to make Caleb uncomfortable because you're putting the lineman in his face. And like you said, some of those sacks was Caleb trying to make something out of nothing when he had to. And some of it was, I think he actually had a 3 to 4 second pocket and the defense played well. Like that's going to happen. Like people complain about it. Jaguars, I'd have to watch film. If they're covering everybody and he's got 4 seconds, you can't ask the O-line much more than that. Like, yes.
He had some great pockets today. That's part of the whole deal. But also, and something we've talked about, which I was surprised to hear that the broadcast said otherwise, because that's not the trend, is that Caleb actually has a really quick release. For some reason, they started this broadcast, and I don't know if it was just like to fit the narrative of a sack on the first drive, but I remember Rich Eisen like basically saying like, well, he's a little slower on the draw. It's a rookie QB thing. I'm like, no, he's been kind of quick. Like the stats show he's been really quick at getting the ball out. So, I'm not sure where they pulled that from, but
I don't know. But
interesting choice.
As the game went on, I think Kurt Warner kind of stepped in and said, look, he's getting the ball out in like 2 seconds. He's getting the ball out in like 1.8 seconds.
Yeah,
like,
and I don't mean to be, and I guess go on a tangent here. I'll be frank. NFL Network, I love Rich Eisen as a personality. Their production is the worst out of all the NFL games, and it's unfortunate. Just because, look, it's the one you staple your brand on, Right. And I get it; they cut down the network a lot, but those games, it was not a very well produced game. And I think Rich Eisen is a very okay at best play-by-play, very much more suited for the studio and a mic'd up show like he does. It's too bad, but that's what they have. So,
I was about to say that he's a podcast guy. He's an interview guy. He's great.
Right. And I mean, hey, he's getting his opportunity, but look, I don't think it's cutting the mustard. I think it's an okay broadcast. They're trying to make it a bigger deal. I'd like to see a more polished production, I guess.
Kurt Warner's not bad because he brings it from an NFL perspective. And when Caleb's looking at the quarterback stuff, he's pretty good at breaking that stuff down. Even their halftime show, like no offense to those workers or anything, it just didn't feel like your Fox and CBS. Like it wasn't. I don't even know who those people were. Like you're watching.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the NFL Network went through a bunch of essentially cut downs this year. I mean, they lost NFL Today. Remember, they basically cut the show out of the lineup. And it's like longest running show on the network they removed this year. So, is what it is.
That kind of happens though when, like, I know it was on TV today. Like we got it in our cable or our streaming cable, whatever we have. We had the channel, so I was like, perfect. I don't have to use NFL Plus. I'm going to watch on the big TV, not my computer. But that's what happens when, after a while, you say, "Oh, hey, now you got to pay for NFL Plus or NFL Network to watch the Thursday night games or watch this game." That's what kind of happens when these streaming things are happening. Is people would rather say, "You know what? Maybe I'll get NFL Plus for a day to watch this game, and I'm going to de-subscribe." And that's happening with Disney Plus. That's happening with all these other ones. And I don't mean to go off on a tangent of the media.
No, I'm just talking the NFL land, like your network with your brand. And I know that NFL's trying to sell it off. Was ESPN. Apparently now they're trying to sell it to Skydance, who owns CBS. So interesting. But long story short, quality should probably be a little bit better. I feel like Rich is a great analyst, less so a play-by-play caller. And then finally, makes me wonder what the Netflix broadcasts are going to look like. I mean, the lower bar is the NFL Network one. Like that's the one you got to clear minimum. So
yeah, because even Prime wasn't that great last year, but Prime's getting a little bit better.
Yeah,
with their stuff, and so that's another competition you have. Like it's just crazy the media landscape. How it used to be just CBS, just Fox, and just NBC. Like that's what it was. Then you had the Red Zone, which was awesome because you could get these games. Like I remember in college, the buddy's dad had it, and so we had a bunch of TV set up. The Bears game was on the main one. If there was another good game going on, we put on the other TV, and that third TV would just be Red Zone to get your updates because we were fantasy football. And so I know when they came out with that, great. But then you start to expand NFL Network, you start to expand to this. You're competing with all these other people. You're asking people to pay for a streaming thing. Well, they're like, well, why am I going to pay for an extra streaming thing when I got cable? I've got the Red Zone. And that's the same thing Disney Plus is going through. And that's why they're trying to push out so much content.
Oh, yeah.
Netflix has stayed strong because they have more content. They create their own shows and Hulu's big because they're doing the same thing, and it's just, it's just you feel bad for them because it's your brand, NFL Network. Like we are the NFL, and
Mm-hmm.
they
Oh
probably,
yeah.
they probably wanted to pull away from CBS and Fox and say, "What if we just put everything here?" But then you realize, well, everybody tunes in. Like,
Yeah, well, yeah, we could have a whole discussion on the monies, which we should at some point, I think. But so, long story short, I'm glad it would have been worse if we tune into a game. Like, imagine being a Jags fan. You tune in, you watch your team get completely just railed on, and then you also have a broadcast that I thought, it's a little like, oh my god, odd type of thing. But whatever. That's just me. As for, let me think here. As for just kind of things to discuss further here. So run game's been great. I think that's well established now. Caleb being decisive in the passing game, clearly evident. I mean, look, 4 touchdowns, and some of these, Steve, these were some really great throws.
really
For
great
several of these passes, man. I mean, the over the shoulder one to Keenan Allen, to the 4th and final one. I mean, that's as good of a back shoulder as you can get.
to get it right
His first one, where it's high and up. It's the only place you can catch it.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row now, we've seen passes like that where he's putting it right where you can only grab it.
Mm-hmm.
Chef's kiss.
It was chef's kiss. Like I said, after they settled in after that first quarter, he was like, "Oh, wait a minute." The whole team was like, "Wait a minute. Like, we can do this. We've done it before." And they just did it. Like, they showed the slow play. Keenan Allen's literally running this way. You got the backers here. He literally throws it over here, and Keenan Allen sees it. Like, oh shit! Like it was literally like right there. Oh, and grabbed it.
And I'll be honest, the other part of that's what a quality veteran receiver, like number 1 quality receiver, can do for you too. It's not saying that it's impossible for any receiver to catch that, but it's nice when you have someone that is that athletic and has been a top in his class in this game for a while now.
Yeah.
Helps a lot. DJ Moore, similar deal. We saw a similar pass last week. Only could put it where he can get it.
Mm-hmm. He did it to Cole Kmet. Like he threw it right over that guy, right over for the touchdown. He threw it like he's getting the things they criticized him for was, can you make NFL style throws? Can you look a guy off and get a guy more open by looking them off? And they showed it a couple times where he gets the ball and he's like, they're showing his eyes, 1, 2, 3. Then he comes right back to even like he's starting to figure that out. And they're not relying on him. Like I know he had to make some throws, but they're not solely relying on him. Like to throw almost 30 passes is perfect. Like that's kind of where you want it. Like if you could throw 25 to 30 passes, you're good because you're relying on the run game and your receivers are making plays for you. And he's taking care of the football. Like that was one criticism was when he runs, he fumbles it, and he's actually not. That one run he had, he was looking to take a hit because he was trying to score. But most of the time when he gets close to the first down, he's thinking out of bounds slide because he's like, I can't take these hits.
I mean, I'll be frank, his ball security, unless it's like he's in the pocket and pressure gets to him, on the run, he's really been great at tucking it. So yeah, I've seen no problem with that. I think like early in his runs, maybe he kind of tries to fake it so he keeps it out and about a little bit. But so far this year, he's been like when he scrambles, he's great at putting it away. He knows when to put it away for contact.
Right. Compared to like our previous quarterbacks, they're looking to like hit people. They're looking to take hits. They're trying to make extra moves. I think Caleb understands like there's times I can, if it's open, if there's a bunch of defenders there's no reason for me to, unless we need to score, if we're on the 5 and I have to score, that's when he'll do it. And that's just being a competitor and an athlete. But when he's in the open field, he's looking to slide. He's looking to get out. And even before he takes off and runs, he's still looking downfield.
Yeah.
He still wants to get rid of the ball. And I think he's understanding that if this is a team that can compete for a playoff spot and we can play past our 17 games, I have to be healthy. So there's no reason for this.
Longevity is so freaking vital, man. So vital.
And it's crazy because he's a rookie. I don't know if rookies necessarily think that way because they come out of college where they are doing all those hits. They are trying to push the envelope a little bit.
Mhm.
And to come in the NFL as a rookie, and you've already kind of established that in your mind where, hey, I want to be a pocket quarterback. We've got weapons. I don't need to do this. He probably heard all the shit talked about Justin Fields and like running all the time and stuff like that. So he's probably like, hey, I can't be doing this unless I absolutely have to. If he sees it's man coverage and it's 3rd and 4 and it's man and they run off and he can get around and go and slide, awesome.
Yeah.
But I think Shane Waldron and Matt Eberflus are probably having those conversations with him and reinforcing that. So good on them. And what was the criticism of Shane Waldron in the first like 3 weeks? Play calling. Are you actually a quarterback whisperer? Like, can you coach quarterbacks? Can you get them to play? And I'm not going to give him all the credit. Some it's Caleb Williams, but it seems like that's starting to work now. Where like, hey, this is
Oh yeah.
starting.
I mean, what is the scheme? What's the, what is the vision that you're looking for?
Yes.
And I think now you're seeing the vision. I also think more so than that, like we've talked as well in the past, I just think understanding your personnel better too. Again,
I think we lost Zach again. But what Zach was talking about is figuring out your personnel grouping is huge. You don't want to sit there and say, we are this pass all over the place. This is a zone team. We're a wide zone team. And I don't know if anybody out there knew this. Shane Waldron coached with Sean McVay, so that's where you're seeing a lot of the zone stuff come in. But they're getting into duo. They're getting into downhill runs. They're doing mid zone where they're running more downhill and everything else. Zach's back. There we
go. It was like, what the hell happened? I don't know what it is. I blame darn you Cox Internet out here in Arizona. Dropping my coverage and all that crap.
AT&T Internet. That's what I use.
Oh, well.
And I'm in a small.
Good for you.
I'm in a small hunk town, and I can still use AT&T.
Well, all I can tell you is I have no choice. That is the one downside to this apartment, and I love this apartment, is I am stuck with Cox Internet.
Cox Internet.
Yeah, it's like it's basically what like Xfinity is out here.
Oh, okay.
It's the best comparison I got. I don't know what to tell you beyond that. I'm sorry, you were talking running game when I finally reappeared from the nether realm.
No. I was just saying, like, you were talking about understanding personnel, and I fed off that was we learned he coached under Sean McVay, so all the zone stuff, the zone runs, and these screens started to come to light of, oh, this is kind of his background. But I think he started to figure out, like, I could sprinkle them in. I can use tight ends on the line of scrimmage and do this. I can put a running back out in the slot and use him as a receiver and put Roschon Johnson in the backfield. He's started to figure out what they can and can't do. And I know people are like, well, don't you figure that out in the offseason? Yes and no. Yes, because you're around them all the time. But when a new coach comes in, and like me, for example, when I go into a new high school, I came in, like even this high school, I came in and said, hey, I'm a inside zone guy. I like wide zone. I like this. And we try to force it on them. But I'll tell you what, like our head coach loves to run power. But we came in and we're like, we don't know if we actually have a guy that can kick out over and over and over again. So we kind of got away from it because we're feeding off of what they can do. Now, as they get older, because they're sophomores and juniors, they get to seniors and juniors, maybe we can do it. But we can, same thing. So he probably thought, I'm going to force what I want, saw that it's not working. Let me cut it in half. Like, we're going to do half of what I want. And you see it, wide zones, but the Swift is figuring out how to cut it back when it's not, into the right gap. They're starting to run some duo where they're double teaming, getting a guy on a guy, and you're going downhill. Caleb Williams sometimes runs the zone read because he can get to the outside when that defensive end crashes in. So he's sprinkling in what he wants. He's sprinkling in what they can do. And we don't see that a lot as Bears fans. We see what's forced on them from the Tressman times to the Matt Nagy times. We see it over and over.
You had me at Tressman. You had me at Tressman.
But he's making the adjustments. You see them all talking to each other on the sideline. Even after they celebrate and score real quick for like a minute, they all sit down and they figure out what they're going to do next. So they're all about business. Shane Waldron is constantly over there making notes and seeing what's adjusting. I'm sure Matt Eberflus is talking to him about what he sees from a defensive perspective of this is what they're doing. So that's a great combo too. When you have a defensive play caller as the head coach, he can tell the offensive guy like, "Hey, I can see what they're doing on defense." Like, and again, we keep talking about the offense. Matt Eberflus is still continuing to be a great defensive play caller, and I had to keep telling myself he feels the game out the first quarter all the time, like defensively, and then all of a sudden they figure it out, and he's just being a blake. And again, he managed timeouts well again. He's managed if he wants to challenge something pretty well, and he's managing the defense pretty well. So it's just starting to look we're starting on the up and up right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, turnovers, I think, also cure all wills or for anything that goes wrong on the field of play. And I mean, and you had to figure out as well, what is my secondary going to look like with Jaquan Brisker being not here in London and having to take some time off, concussion protocol and whatnot. And you know what? Got to say, Hicks stepped up to the plate, played a really good game out there. I love what I saw from Elijah Hicks today, honestly. And, to me, helps with the system. And some people are understanding what their role is in that said system. So, made me really happy to see that. Jalen Jones had a great day too out there. Saw him a lot showing up on the for tackles or just kind of getting involved with the action.
Right.
A lot of times.
And we said as the game goes on, can you get to Trevor Lawrence? And they sacked him 3 times. But another big thing is they had 8 QB hits on him.
Oh, yeah.
So we talked about that. Can you get to him? Can you make him uncomfortable? And I know he got his yards, 234 yards. He had 2 touchdown passes, but you forced him into an interception. We forced a fumble, almost 2 fumbles. It was close to almost making a football move, but I understand. People are mad about that play call. It's like, but I understand it. He didn't. I get it.
Well, you got to understand the rule, and I think that's what kills me is like they did it right. There's 3 parts. He had 2 steps. They're very quick steps. He got the ball, but he didn't really move anywhere up the field, or he didn't really change direction very well. And if the play is so bang bang the way that it was, where it is like catch and near instantaneous pop of the ball out, that's not going to be a fumble. Like 9 times out of 10, the NFL is going to change that right away, and they're not going to let you get that fumble.
Right.
So as soon as I saw that, I was like, is that really a fumble? And I was like, yeah, that didn't feel like a fumble. And that's exactly what happened.
Well, even that other fumble almost didn't feel like one either, but he made a move because they're so bang bang, and it's tough on our defense because it's like, hey, we're getting there quick. If I don't get there as quick, he is going to make a move. Maybe he gets more yards. Booker was in there. He had 2 solo tackles. He was in on some tackles. I said that he's got to get more reps, and I think it's perfect to get him in at defensive end. So he was in there. I know Kyler Gordon was limped off the field later on, so that wasn't good, but he balled out as well. So they really picked up the slack where Brisker was missing there.
Oh, yeah.
And again, how do you take the pressure off of your back end to help out that situation? You got to hit the quarterback. You got to get him to move around. You got to stop the run. And they did. Speaking of that, we said Tank Bigsby was the guy they had to stop. 7 carries was it, 24 yards. They gave the ball more. They gave the ball to Ernest Johnson. He had 28 yards, like only 68 rushing yards. So they really balled out to sell out on the run.
Yeah, quiet day. ETN also was removed from the game. I think it was in the late first half. He was removed, and they basically stuck with that.
-1 rushing yards for him.
Yeah, he's not. I don't know. Like I said, his momentum. I've talked about him with people. Like I said, his stat. I mean, injury aside, his status there. It's been more downward. Tank Bigsby's been becoming the guy. But what helps that though is look, Chicago's offense. This is where complementary football comes in. So you have a weakness in that defense. It's the run game. Okay, at least if we're looking at stats, I'm not saying it's like this complete albatross of a failing, like say the Jaguars pass defense right now, but it's there. It's the piece that most fans have noticed when we've talked about it. However, on the opposite side of the ball, Chicago goes up. They're up 14-3 by the end of the first half. They get the ball immediately back on a turnover and go up 21-3. I don't know about you, Steve, but that to me screams, we're bailing on the run, guys. We got to pass, because you can't stick with it. If you're not getting enough chunk yards, which they did okay, but it wasn't like big yardage first half. I mean, there you go. Well, you just removed the part that you feel like you worry the most about with the interior line. Now we're going into our strengths. Oh, we can pressure you. Oh, we can play coverage on your guys because well, you can run, but the clock says you got to catch up, my buddy. Time to start passing.
Right.
That's complimentary football right there. Offense, adding the pressure, scoring, getting that score up so quickly like that, removes any part of a game plan that could have allowed you to control things. And to be fair, clock management was a near 50-50 split. Chicago won by I think 30 seconds in that category for time on the field that they had in possession. So, game plan dictated. That's a good thing. Chicago didn't have to worry about anything, and not too shabby of a day, even just slowing down the run when they tried to use that.
Right. And I always think it's funny. We gave up 278 total yards, and back in the day, they were like, "Oh, that's too many yards."
Yeah.
But to give up those yards and only 16 points, and 14 of those points were garbage time in the fourth quarter. I don't know if it was considered garbage time, but it was kind of felt like the game was done. You'll get yours because now you got nothing to lose, and you're gonna get something. I know the Bears defense is probably pissed off they gave up. Or sorry, they scored 7 and 6 in the second half, so those were garbage. Whatever. Bears scored 14 in the fourth quarter. I apologize. I'm dyslexic. Whatever.
That's all good.
And not much more you could say. It was a great defensive game. But that's the big thing, and I think we're going to get overshadowed. It will get overshadowed by the Bears are scoring 30-some points these last couple of games now. The offense is doing this, but they're complementing each other. The defense, like you just said, the defense is doing what they're doing, and the offense has to turn around and either score or go on a long drive to try to complement what they're doing and get Jacksonville or whoever they're playing into. You punt it away, get them in far field position. You got to play the field. They're just feeding off of each other now, and I love how the defense gets off the field more. I love how the offense is staying on the field longer. Bend don't break defense is okay to me. I'm okay with that. Even if you give up a field goal, when we get up that field goal, I was like, oh, good. It's not a touchdown. I'm feeling okay. And I know you don't want to give up any points, but there's a reason why you see defense coordinators. If an offense goes on a long drive and they only get a field goal, defensive guys are clapping. They're the defense coordinators are we're okay. We didn't give up the touchdown. We held them when we needed to. Just like the Illinois game last night, the defense played well the first half. Second half, they walked through the whole second half. But when they had to make a defensive stop on that 2-point conversion for Purdue to win the game, they did it. And so you're clapping for it. You're like, yeah, they scored, but we stopped them when we needed to. So it's just complimentary football. And again, the Bears, to have a rookie quarterback able to get these guys the ball when he's needed to. And as a defense, you go, who do we cover? Do we sell it on the run and make Caleb beat us? Well, Caleb can show that he can get the ball in places. Now you got to make a decision. Do we just have to play base defense and try to cover everything?
That's your worst nightmare, man. I mean, you have to make a choice, and you have to, you have to either get pressure and you completely eliminate getting that ball out there if you're doing any pass attack, or you get lucky, bad day. Which, I mean, to be fair, if we're talking the other side, not saying that Chicago would have had the game affected by any of this, but some luck did come into play. I mean, Jacksonville had some drops were very apparent today over with the Jaguars. Also, Chicago, great stat I love to see. 6 pass deflections on the day.
Yep.
Really great at getting the hands on the ball and keeping close coverage.
And the Bears only had 2 penalties.
Also a fantastic stat. Thank you for not letting us leave without that, because Jacksonville gave just some free yards second half easily.
Yeah, penalties for Jacksonville. That's another thing that hurt them on some drives. They had some false starts there at the beginning in the first half. They had 8 penalties. Bears only had 2. And in the red zone, Bears were 4 for 4. Once they got in the red zone, they came away with some points.
Mm-hmm.
So to go into that red zone going 4 for 4 is awesome. Jacksonville wasn't too bad either, 2 for 3, but was that garbage time? You count the field goal in the first half as that probably. So then after that, they didn't really get to the red zone. So for the Bears to get there and come away with points, and 25 first down, so you're getting long sustaining drives, or you're getting big first down plays to get your other first down.
Oh yeah.
Um, again, I don't need Caleb to have 500 yards passing and throw for 50 times. He gets these type of stats. The running game gets this type of stats. Multiple guys are touching the football to keep the defense on their toes. They're figuring it out. Figuring out as they head into their bye week to relax a little bit and say, okay, we can get our legs underneath of us. Keenan Allen can continue to get healthy. DJ Moore, there's times like he went down for a second, then got back up. It allows him to kind of stay healthy there for a little bit.
Yeah, I was worried about Kyler Gordon too.
Kyler
At one point,
Gordon.
but he's fine. And I'll be honest with you, I would have really been sad to see him down and have to take time off because Eberflus has been using him. I mean, I know he's more nickel, but he's really been more acting like this hybrid role. They've been blitzing him a lot. He has a really good knack for that.
Right. It just allows them to get their legs back underneath us. I always worry about bye week, especially if you're starting to figure it out to come back off a bye week. Can you keep it hot? And I know, like, probably Caleb probably wants to play. He's probably like, oh, can we just skip the bye week and play?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm absolutely, yeah, I'm sure he does.
But it gives them extra time to prepare, gives them extra time to relax. It's going to be a big time game. So that's going to come into question because Washington's playing this weekend. They don't get a bye week. So that might be able to play into the favor of the Bears. Like, hey, we get to relax. You're playing. Is Washington playing next week, or do they get a bye week?
I am fairly certain they're playing next week, but I have to check my schedule really quick, just off the top of my head. Which currently it is 3-3, them against the Ravens. Talk about a massive matchup to see how legit the Commanders are.
They do play next week. They play the Panthers.
Well, should be in that case. It's going to be a tune-up game.
There'll be a
trap game, depending how this goes with Baltimore. So,
what'd you say? They're currently winning right now?
No, it's tied. It's a 3-3. Baltimore's got the ball at their own 20. So,
I kind of wish they played Baltimore next week because then they could get a little banged up. Like that'd be damn it. Oh well. But it allows them to get some rest.
Yeah.
Even though they're hot right now, it's fine. It's totally fine. And that's going to be a big time game. I have a feeling it could get flexed to like 3:30. I have a feeling.
There's a good shot that I bet it does get flexed there. I don't see a way unless CBS all of a sudden were to just not care about getting a game flexed. Because again, this isn't like, just because I'm reiterating, NBC tried to do this already and they got completely vetoed on it by CBS. So, and that was for, and that's for a coming up game at the, it's going to be, I think it's Bengals Giants that they were trying to do that with, which is this week. And they were trying to actually get that Commanders and Ravens game flexed. And CBS said no. So unless CBS is told by the NFL to do that, or CBS for some reason doesn't care about television competition all of a sudden, it's probably going to be flexed, I would imagine, to a late slate Sunday afternoon game, which is fine. Yeah. That's going to be hopefully nationally broadcasted if we're lucky.
I'd rather it be at 3:25 than 7:30 anyway. Because Sunday night, I like Sunday night football, but man, like there's
you're talking sleep though.
Yeah,
you're talking sleep. Yeah.
Bears 4-2. That's a perfect spot. I know we can go back and say they could be 5-1 or whatever, but I think we said this when they came out with the schedule and we saw the type of team we had, and I think you and I said that if we can be 4-2 going into the bye week. And this is before we knew Washington was going to be decent. We thought it was going to be like looking at their schedule. This is perfect. But to be 4-2 in this situation, you have to feel pretty good if you're the team, and you have to feel pretty good as a fan. Like, hey, we're 4-2 right now. And it seems like we are going to be a playoff fighting type of team here. I'm not saying they are going to get in, but you're in a spot where
with the defense they have, any game is possible to win. It comes down to the offensive the offense's continued development.
Kurt Warner and Eisen even said this. They said the NFC North might be the best division in football. They said that during the broadcast. They said the way it's going, it could be the best division in all of football right now.
I say not might, I say is.
I think so too. The way Minnesota's playing, Detroit, if Green Bay's healthy, and I don't want them to be healthy, but
well, say Jordan Love's going to continue to get weeks under him. That's the thing. Detroit's Detroit.
We are Minnesota. The second. We are. I know they haven't played yet, but as of right now, today in the afternoon, since we played this morning, Green Bay has scored the most points at 108. Or the Bears have scored the most points.
Well, is that like including London?
Yeah, maybe it says 148 points for the Chicago Bears. The next highest scoring is Minnesota with 139.
Interesting. I'm getting the vibe that's with London, but
with London, I'm just saying, as of this moment, at 12:33 Central Time PM on Sunday, the Bears have scored the most points in the NFC North.
Not bad.
Now, is that going to change after Detroit plays and all that? Absolutely, it's gonna.
Oh, we'll find out. I mean, here, let me. I'm actually curious what the other ones are in the division, real quick, for points for.
Detroit has scored 104.
See, well, now credit they were on bye last week, so I got to give a pass on there.
Right, Green Bay has scored 128.
Yeah, these are updated. Yeah, Green Bay 128. Not too shabby. I mean, I say this with just enough to sound like I care, but I really don't. Minnesota, though, I can't believe that team. They looked mortal last week, but I can't believe that team.
Minnesota's on a bye week this week. Then they get the Lions next week. The Lions, I think they're on. Are they playing today? They're playing.
They play the Cowboys. That's America's game of the week.
They'll play the Cowboys. So that will be updated with points scored.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay is playing the Cardinals right now.
Yes, and I think they are down by 7 right now.
Good.
No, sorry, they're up by 7. Damn it.
Damn.
Come on, Arizona. Be my You're my second team. I live in Phoenix. You got to be my second team today.
Oh, they're up 7-up. But it's only the first quarter. It's okay.
24. Well, they're looking good to start.
Damn it.
Damn it.
Sorry, this has nothing to do with the Bears. Houston all over the Patriots, 14-0 in the first quarter, which is Houston. And then New England goes to London next week.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Tampa Bay all over the Saints, 17-0 in the first quarter. The resurgence of Baker Mayfield.
For real. Yeah, let me see this Houston box score, because this is Drake May's first start. Not a great start for him either. 1 of 3 for 8 yards and a pick.
And people wanted the Bears to pick him. That's another thing. Congrats to Ryan Poles. Like, he's made these roster moves, and people are going after him for this O-line thing. Like, he could be fired, could lose his job over this O-line. I haven't heard those people since they started to get it together. And I thought that was dumb. Why would you fire Ryan Poles? Like, he literally rebuilding this team. His first round draft pick, getting rid of Justin Fields, getting Caleb Williams, I think is panning out so far. Like, it's working now.
So far the gambles worked, you got to say.
And I know you and I even question keeping Eberflus, but right now with the defense, the way they're playing, like, you have to go, okay, I see why you kept him. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, Eberflus is a fantastic coordinator and is doing enough head coaching. And, well, let me phrase this. He's a fantastic coordinator and fantastic locker room guy. Head coaching suspect on in terms of how he handles games, but the other two elements he's exceptionally well at, and that outweighs the con right now.
And I think that's why they were in a weird position with him. Like, do we fire him and give up that great defensive stuff? Because then if we fire him, now we're looking for a head coach. Are they going to call plays? Find a DC? So
And yeah, again, they don't finish 7-10 last year. If they finish like same record or what they were trajecting to be early on, I think we talk about a different person. But better records year over year. It's a year 2 coach. Kind of hard to fire someone doing that. And you know what? I can't really say anything like that because that'd be very anti positive right now for how good things are at this moment.
Right. So it just looks like good decisions all around. I know we questioned it at the beginning, but I think you and I did a decent job of pumping the brakes, saying like this team does have to gel. This isn't NCAA, this ain't Madden where you can just make your team and it works. They have to feel each other out. They have to mesh. They have to communicate. The quarterback has to be on the same page with the receivers. The O-line has to be on the same page. New running back, new scheme, like it all has to kind of come together. And, I'm glad they're figuring it out right now and not later on in the season.
Yeah.
They're figuring it out now. We knew the defense would be good because you have most of the defensive players back, same guy calling the plays. That stuff can figure itself out. We just needed the offense to not keep the defense on the field because if the way it was going, that defense was going to be on the field most of the game. And I just felt like as the season went on, they're going to get worn down and start to find some holes. So if they do what they do, offense continues to do what they do, and just compete. We're not going to win games 35-16 every week. We have to compete. And that's going to be my next thing is like next week, if you're in a tight game, it's tied, everything else, how do they handle that pressure? So we've seen where they're supposed to do that to the Panthers. They're supposed to do this to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, when you start to play teams that are hot, they're feeling really good about themselves. Maybe you're not scoring 35 points. Like, do you abandon the game plan? Does Caleb Williams tighten up a little bit? I don't think he will, but these are all things you got to start seeing. The defense isn't going to tighten up at all. They've got it. They've got it down. But
not without a doubt, they won't.
But if a team, if they play a really good offense and that team does score 24 points, and they're able to do things, how's the offense going to come back from that? So that'll be a conversation for after the bye week as they go play Washington. But that's going to be the next evolution of this. Okay, we've seen what you're supposed to do against certain teams. Now what are you going to do when you're playing a really good team and they're able to do the same things you're doing?
Oh, right.
So that'll be the next step for this evolution of what we're seeing with Caleb Williams and this Bears team, in my opinion. But what do I know? What do I know?
What do we all know for real? What do we know? Not much. Sometimes we don't know.
I don't know jack shit. I thought Illinois was going to kick Purdue's ass, and they were. Guys, check out that episode. I did a post game on that one. I was the first thing out of my mouth. I said, "Holy shit!"
Oh wow!
And I'll tell you this: my wife is not a huge sports person. Like I had the Illinois game on the TV. She will watch it.
Mm-hmm.
When Illinois came down and went to overtime, she was like, "Oh my God, they're going to overtime!" And I was like, "See, even she was into it." She was like, "What the hell?" I remember she saw it was like 27-3. She comes in, she goes, "Wait a minute, weren't they up 27-3? What's it? Why is it 43-40 Purdue?" And I was like, "Don't get me started."
Oh, I don't want to talk about it.
I said, "Don't even get me started on this."
Oh, that's great. That's great.
But then she liked how the Bears were at 8:30. She was like, "Oh, so you're not going to be watching football all day?" And I was like, "Well, hold on a second. Let's just pump the brakes here for a second. Let's finish at 8:30."
Yeah. What lies on the other side of this conversation for you?
Because I was like, I am interested in that Detroit-Dallas game, so let's just pump the brakes a little bit.
Oh, like I gotta watch that. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be must-see TV.
All right, I think we got it all. Zach has to be a true American and go to sit at a bar and watch football. Like that's the American thing to do on a Sunday.
It's football time. Just non-stressful, waiting on the Bears game football time. It's observing the competition, as one of my friends has said in the past.
And now you can see people around you getting mad at their team, and you could just sit back going,
"Oh yes,
I'm good. Our team already played. I'm good."
Oh, I certainly will enjoy that.
So Zach's got to go do the Lord's work here and sit at a bar.
Nice.
I have to take care of a 4-year-old dog that has eye surgery, and
Oh, give him plenty of belly rubs.
oh yeah, he doesn't know how to be a dog, so we're trying to teach him how to be a dog.
Oh, well, make him happy.
Yeah, like we got him
Make him
his
happy.
own bowls, and the bowls came with like toys, and we threw the toys down. He looked at them, looked at us, and just walked away. Like he doesn't know how to be a dog. Now our Cocker Lab, on the other hand, knows how to be a dog.
What the hell is this?
Oh, she's handled just like we thought we would. She's 10, and every time that dog does something, she's a snitch. So if that dog leaves the room, she's barking like, he's left the room.
Nice.
Or if he comes up to us, she barks and like, wait a minute, and then she puts her way in like, I'm the baby.
Give me attention.
All right, I think we did good. Everybody like and subscribe. There's the Bear Down playlist on the Coach Steve Show where all the episodes we've done are all now on there. I made sure of it yesterday. They're all put on there. Check all that out. Leave a comment down below about the Bears, all that good stuff. Like and check it out on Apple, Spotify, wherever you find it, it's there. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys next time.